Hello, my friends. I hope you are well. Today, I want to talk about conditional statements and logical operators in Lua programming language. Please open your Roblox studio and create a script. And I just need to mention that this is about conditional statements and logical operators. Before I start, if you are familiar with some programming language like Python, JavaScript, C++, and other, some operators are the same in different programming language. Maybe you heard about something is greater equal something, something is less equal something. So here is the same. For example, we can say A is greater or equal something. The variable x can be less or equal something. Or we can actually use two equal sign in programming language in Lua. It means that, for example, A is equal to B. But when you use one sign equal, it means that you want to assign a value to a variable. So there's a difference when you want to say, for example, A is equal to B. In this case means that the variable A is equal to B, or even you can say, for example, A is not equal to B. So in some programming language like Python, you usually use A is not equal to B, but here we use A is not equal to B with this sign. And we can use some logical operators like and, or not. And we will see in the coding what does it mean. But as I mentioned, there's a difference between A equal to B and A. For example, A is equal to 7. In this case, the first line, it means that variable A is equal to variable B. And if they are equal, the answer will be a Boolean, true. And if not, it's again Boolean, it can be false. But in this case, you assign the value of 7 to variable of the A. So there's a difference between these two. So be careful about using this sign inside of your code. Let's understand what is conditional statement. We want to use if statement. Let's define two very simple variables. For example, local x is 10 and local y is 20. In this case, I want to say if x is bigger than y, then print something. I can say print, and I can say x is big or greater than y. Then I want to use else if, and I can say else if the y is greater than x. In this case, just print y is greater than x. Okay, and finally I can say else. For example, when they are equal together, I can say x is equal to y. So let's check that. And the order is so important here. So for example, if x is bigger than y, greater than y, in our case is actually not, when this line will be executed, we actually don't look at the rest of the code. So this is important. In the if block, if one part of the if is correct, we don't look at the rest of the code. But in this case, because if x is bigger than y is false, we look at the else if and we can see y is bigger than x, so y is greater than x will be executed. Okay, so let's check the terminal to see what happened. Here it's in the run format, so we need that. And you can see here the y is greater than x will be executed. It's not bad to see the value as well. So I can say here print, and here I can say x is, I can use concatenate, and I can say for example x can be print the x, and the same thing for y, and I can say y is, don't forget the quotation here, and concatenate y. Okay, so look at here, you can see the x is greater than, the y is greater than x, and x is 10 and y is 20, and definitely 20 is bigger than 10. The same logic, if I check and just copy and paste here, and I change to, for example, 120, and again you can see here x is greater than y, and because x is 100 and y is 20. And the last thing you can check here, for example, both are 100, you can see here both are equal. Let's make it a little bit more complex, and let's clean here. I want to make two objects. So here the first object or first part, I can say that's neon, and color can be, for example, blue, and definitely that is anchor. If you check the parameters here, this is the anchor part. Yeah, it's the anchor part. And let's change the transparency as well to 0.5. So this is a blue part, neon part with transparency 0.5. Let's make another part and change the name to, for example, this one is our blue part, and this one F2, our red part. Just change the color to red, and for example the wood material. So we have two parts here. One of them is blue with transparency 0.5, and another one is red with transparency 0, because we didn't change any transparency for this part. Let's get reference to these two parts and work with them. For example, local blue part, that is game workspace or blue part. The same logic here, red part, and this is game workspace and red part. I want to say if the blue part material is equal to, so keep in mind when we want to use equal, we use twice sign, yeah, so we cannot use this for equal. So equal to enum material neon, and we know that is correct because the blue part material is enum material neon, and the blue part transparency is exactly equal to 0.5. In this case, just print blue part. Use else if. I want to say if red part material is exactly material wood, and I know this is correct, or the red part transparency is exactly equal to 0.5, and I know that that is actually wrong and false. In this part, just print red part. Otherwise, just print the value. For example, I can say here print the blue part material is, you can say blue part material name, And the same logic here for red part. I can say the red part material is concatenate the red part material name, and the value for transparency, I can say the print blue part transparency value is concatenate blue part transparency. Let's copy and paste this one, and this is for red part. Now is red part transparency. Okay, see what happened here. It actually checked the first line of the if statement. Because we have and, it means that it will be executed just and just if both sides of the and are true. And we know that, for example, here the material is known and the transparency is 0.5, so definitely this print will be executed. But if one of them is false, definitely it's actually try to check the else if. Let's actually play that, and you can see here the blue part will be executed. But if I just change the transparency to 0.8, definitely this is true and false, and true and false means that false, and it actually check the else if. And in else if, we just need one positive sign, one true side. So here we know that the material is wood, but the transparency is not 0.5. But anyway, it will be executed. So my expectation is no, the red part will be printed. So let's check that. And you can see here the red part will be executed. Let's change again and put and here, and we will see what happened. In this case, my if part is false, my else if is false, so I try to look at the else part, and just the value will be actually printed. Let's check that. And you can see the blue part material is known. Let's put a little bit space here. Okay, this is better. And here as well. And you can see the blue part material is known, the red part material is wood, blue part transparency is 0.5, and the last one is 0. That's all about if statement. For beginner level, I guess that's enough to understand what is conditional statement and how we can actually work with logical operators. That's all. Thank you so much, and bye-bye.